Hello. Sure, babies. Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm trying to get in the mood. Okay, so, I don't know, man. I want today to go through the heavier stuff, the ones that are actually like encoded. So let's go for inspired by a friend of mine. I'm going to tag her. Three ways to assimilate with someone when actively listening. Uh, okay, so like, I don't know whoever watched one of my videos. I don't think. I don't know. But anyways, I was talking about listening and how the interaction with people kind of like comes about. But I mentioned something that was like the three types of listening, and she disagreed with me. And naturally, when somebody disagrees with me, I look them straight in the eye and I go, please go on. Why? Because I would rather hear somebody else's opinion than my own repeated. Right? That makes sense. But mainly because she was the third tier of assimilation, which is I completely trusted that whatever she said was her truth. So, three types of listening, or the three ways to assimilate with somebody, is I either believe you, straight up. I believe you, and whatever you're saying is the truth, and there's no thinking about it. It enters my mind, and I'm 100% kind of like gonna move on with that being something that's added to my reality. A lot of people, a lot of the times you do that with people you kind of like respect enough not to care where their opinion came about or where their words came from or any of that good stuff. Assimilation number two, or type 2 assimilation. Type 2 assimilation, that sounds a lot better. Type 2 assimilation is when you're listening to somebody or you're having a conversation with somebody or like kind of like focusing with somebody, and you can't help but be suspicious that they truly believe that what they're saying is true. What it is, the reason you're still listening is because they have proven to believe that what they're saying to them is true, but you yourself are not really getting why it's true. And I don't know if it's something to do with logic or if it's something to do with just like the parts, the different kinds of engagements we normally have with thoughts, with ideas. Because a lot of the times when I'm talking to people, I tend to realize that each one of us is not tend to realize each one of us is trying to explain their perception of life and their reality and how they see reality, and they're trying to communicate it the best way possible. And sometimes it just doesn't really fit with your reality. At least like from the beginning, there are things that you need to like layer down as a baseline to the communication. And I talked about this a lot actually. Like that's basically been the main topic over the past couple of weeks. It's the whole it's how when two people are interacting with each other, they have to form some form of some kind of respect to one another, and that maybe this assimilation comes to the different tiers of respect of where you kind of like place yourself when it comes to the other person. But the best way I could describe it is this: each one of you is on a different side of a river, and you kind of have to meet. And in order for me to listen to you, I have to go to that side. And in order for you to like listen to me, I have to come to that side. I can be loud enough to get to your side, but it doesn't really give you an experience. It just tells you something. And ultimately, as we interact, we have to build this bridge between us where I get to move there, not worrying I might fall into the river, and the other person or the other entity communicating with me has to come closer. Like, it's funny because for me right now, you this is a form of communication for me. So I'm kind of developing a better bridge, I guess, in order to kind of explore my own reality with whoever's watching and whoever's engaging. The thought process behind it is literally how do I earn a certain level of respect for the other people to be able to assimilate with the things that I'm saying, or to basically just like actually when they're listening to kind of like trust that I am speaking based on truths that I see that things that I see as truths, which is the third tier. Because there's the first kind, let me repeat it. The first kind is like, yes, I believe you. It's enough. For some reason, it's enough. It could be a character thing, it could be a charisma thing, it could be a position, it could be a sense of authority, right? Like when we were kids, when we go to school, most of the time we don't really like most, I mean, at least with me, the teachers that I had never really lingered with me. I would always be asking questions to understand differently, and the problem is that these teachers, most of them never gave a fuck, never had the time to actually explain or build this kind of relationship with me. So ultimately, they just tell me that's what's required, and they point me in the direction of the book, and I have to trust what the book is saying without building any form of connection. Naturally, that never happened. Of course. Simulation number two is when somebody's saying something and you don't really believe what they're saying, but you believe that they believe that it's true. And assimilation number three is you believe that it is their own truth. So because of how convicted, how much conviction there is in their own words, in their own story, in their own truth, that you trust them, and ergo whatever they say becomes more of a trusted truth. I'm not believing it to be true, it's a trusted truth until I get an experience that's different. But the third one is a lot stronger than the first one, because the first one is if I just believe you, then somebody else that's more charismatic is gonna just make me believe something else. Only makes sense. But the second one, if I believe that you believe it to be true, then ultimately I am operating on my own ignorance because I am believing. Belief is based on ignorance. I'm not saying the people who believe are ignorant. I'm just saying it's based on the fact that I have to believe something to be real when there's no tangible truth or fact behind it. And basically, that normally those are the things that are kind of like only tangible to us. So we build our belief system and the way our reality is constructed. We are the ones who construct our reality, but ultimately we construct it to kind of like formulate such beliefs and to like create a strong engagement with whatever it is we believe to be true. So I'm believing that you see your reality that way, but I'm not really like able to like comprehend it within my reality. But that's a beautiful objective approach where I still get to respect you, still get to respect your opinions, still get to listen to you and understand where you're coming from. I just can't relate. And the third person is when you yourself are expressing something through the conversation naturally that allows me to realize how much you spent on it for it to become a truth in your life, which will show me the efforts you've put in order for that to become a truth. It would make me appreciate you and respect you to a point where I can accept that truth, even though it really is not necessarily mine. So these are the three ways to assimilate. I love the fact that I used building a bridge between somebody or not because it creates a physical, like something physical and tangible as a form of connection between two people. And then basically weak bridges that are just based on like, yeah, yeah, sure, why not? And hi, I see you, and whatever it is, don't really allow people to openly engage properly and evolve. Whilst the last one is more like instead of building a bridge to connect together, and you literally like your conviction to your own truths will literally show me the other side of the river clearly without me having to pass the other side. And it's really one of those, how much of my reality can I infer to you or kind of like share with you or open to you? And how much of your reality can open to me that allows me to be able to engage with how you live your life and how you understand life to be and how you feel life to be moving forward. It's funny because I think at these moments is when we kind of like truly see the difference between the world we created in our heads and the worlds others created in their heads is where we truly build a connection and where we truly bond. And regardless of how the nature of the relationship is, a bond is always built on a familiar feeling of love, I guess. A familiar feeling of, yeah, of trust, of want instead of need, of a certain, like, kind of like something reaching out to you, giving you an alternative. And with these people, man, especially people that kind of like allow you to trust how they see the world, effectively you have a different view of the world that allows you to always be able to like lean back anytime your view is not really like helping you, allows you to kind of like look at the world differently. And that's where when we talk to people, when we engage with people, when we, especially people we care about, we trust, we love, we're able to feel calm because the world within us kind of like settles differently. And I think that's the power behind, I don't know, such engagements and conversations. Fuck, man, I went deep. Amazing. All right. So I'm going to stop now and see if this vibe kind of like pulls over the next couple of videos. Thank you guys for listening. Love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.